I'm not one to blame her at all. Lily let slip a long breath, probably a disgusted yawn. A disgusted yawn. How do you get a disgusted yawn? No, I don't know. I imagine she's as exhausted by all this as I am. I'd better leave now and give these to Hanako. Thank you for the company, Hisao. She smiles very sweetly at me. It feels different than normal, despite the fact that she seems to be smiling so often. I can't put my finger on what the difference is. It's just different. Relaxed, I'd say, but that's probably just relief over getting rid of Rin. Maybe. Yeah, good night. Say hi to Hanako for me. Oh, look at you, Hisao. I will. Good night. Katawa Shoujo. Oh, not Mattel. The students roll into class for the Saturday morning session, and each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people that have worked through the night and have gone to clubs and are now hungover. With only a day left to prepare, I suppose it's not so surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer through classes until the lunch break, and then our time is our own. Mattel lurches into class in a tired stagger. I suppose students aren't the only people that enjoy their late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he scrawls some page and question numbers on the board and slumps down on his desk. 28 plus to the power of do your work. It's completely atypical behaviour for him, but it appears that no one in the class is going to call him out on it. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to work. Not wanting to break the trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffling papers. That's because everybody's trying to sleep. That can partly be attributed to the 2 empty seats beside me. For some reason, Misha and Shizune aren't present, probably doing council work for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. That's damn true. I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or if she is making up for Shizune's lack of voice. I highly doubt that. No one can act that good. Nakai, can I speak to you for a moment? Oh, you're in the shit, Hisao. I'm so engrossed in thinking about Misha that I don't even notice Mattel approaching my desk. Sure, what's this about? It's probably better if we speak outside the classroom. Oh! Something about this doesn't sound too good, but I stand up and follow him out into the hallway. Mattel stands in the hallway, scratching his head as he works out what he is trying to say. Not knowing what is going on, I wait silently. So tell me, how are things? Things? I expected Mattel to be a little vague, but this is pushing the limits. You know, things. You've had a week to settle in now, so how are things? Fine, I guess. I see, and how is your condition? The pause before condition seemed a little unnecessary. Haven't had any problems so far. A brief shimmer of relief passes across Mattel's face. Good, that's good. The school nurse was a little concerned that you might have been pushing yourself a bit too hard. He asked me to keep an eye on you when he couldn't. That makes sense? I'd ask that you don't blow us off so freely. As much as we try to give you the level of education that you would get at a normal school, you have to realize that you have limits. Our goal is to make sure that you know where those limits are and how to maximize your potential within them. Do you follow me? I guess. I mean, I don't plan on doing anything stupid. Well, that's a start, I guess. Well, nobody plans on doing anything stupid. Maybe. I mean, you know. Okay, alright. So then, on to my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid up for a while. We're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I tried to keep up when I was in the hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. Mattel taps his chin and raises an eyebrow as he absorbs this information. Is that so? I suppose there are still students out there that realize the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied in my little life support prison. Well, yeah, you've got to keep up with these things, right? That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world and you're left behind, right? Right. Wouldn't want that to happen. No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them mean nothing to the layperson, but any one of them could be the key to the next big thing, just like the feminist conspiracy that Kenji's talking about. You're in with it, aren't you, Matao? Damn it. I'll keep that in mind. It's obvious that Matao's serious talk is over and he's gone back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think in hindsight that I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Right. Well then, I think that's all I really had to say. Let's get back inside, shall we? My relief at that suggestion is insurmountable. Sure, you're the boss, right? Matao pauses for a moment. I don't think any of my students have ever said that to me before. For an instant I consider replying to this, but something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back into the classroom. A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they are working on the questions on the board. Some don't even bother, their heads slumped on the desk as they nap. Thankfully it would appear that Matao does not even notice them, or doesn't really care. He returns to his desk and retrieves a scientific journal from one of the drawers. I guess I got to him there. The class returns to the near silence that Matao and I left it in before our chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is either waiting for a chance to rest or the chance to get their last-minute preparations underway. The clock on the wall slowly ticks the remaining class time away, until finally the bells cry out, ending the torment. Before you all leave, I expect the answers for those problems by Monday. Class sighs as one, instantly regretting slacking off but still acutely aware of the more pressing issues at hand. The classroom empties in a blink as everyone rushes to their last-minute festival preparations. I stay behind to try to quickly finish the questions so I don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend, with the festival and all tomorrow. Apart from me, Hanako is the only one left, obviously waiting for Lily. It's weird that Lily comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. I expect that moving around is at least normally harder for her than it is for Hanako, but it's none of my business, and I naturally don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else either, so an oppressive silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn pages of my notebook. Hanako turns pages of her novel she's reading. My pencil lead splinters against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. Sounds of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for a sharpener feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Gotta find a damn sharpener, god damn it. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. Oh, fine, I was only trying to get your attention. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako? That was quick. Her name is all it takes to make Hanako jump up from her desk and run to Lily. They talk quietly for a moment, but it isn't long before Lily leaves down the hall and Hanako idles back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. Wait, what? I watch Hanako out of the corner of my eye, out of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple of minutes I really need a drink because my lips are starting to dry up. And then I'll continue as if that was part of the sentence that was said on the screen. She does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently becomes too much for her though, her slender frame reaching into her bag and pulling out a small book. Her slender frame. Okay. Come to think of it, that isn't the one I saw her reading at the library. She must be quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. What, Life of Pi? But why would Lily leave her to her own devices? It seems to be quite out of the ordinary, going by Hanako's reaction. Ah, that's right, I think Lily mentioned something about going into town today before Rin bumped into us. The thought of that walk makes me look outside. The bright sun and occasional people wandering around and enjoying the afternoon make me yearn to get out of school, or at least do something other than sit here. Giving in to one of my worst vices, procrastination. It's everybody's worst vice. You know what it's called? You know what the other word for procrastination is? Facebook. Or, just in general, the internet. You know, Facebook, Reddit, StumbleUpon, YouTube, any of that. Hey, if you're watching this video right now, you're probably procrastinating. I decide that history is a subject best studied on a Sunday, or a Monday, or any other day than this one. True. I give a grunt as I lever myself out of my seat, briefly debating with myself whether or not to hang out with Kenji. Stuff that. Don't do that, Hisao. Perfect day outside and you're gonna hang out with Kenji. Oh. He doesn't strike me as he enjoying the nice weather outside with others kind of person exactly. Really, I guess I'll catch up with them later. Changing tacks, I briefly entertain the idea of talking with Hanako, but by the time I look at her seat, it's vacant. She must have left for the library. There's got to be something to do that can kill the time. Let's go to the library. The library seems as good as a place as any to go. Hanako looked as if she was taken pretty off guard by Lily leaving, so she might want someone to talk to. Sorry. Slinging my bag over my shoulder, I make my way out of the classroom. I swear the first time that was a man. Okay, the next time we see this painting, it has to be a man, otherwise I'm going crazy. I walk down the hallway to the library, past a multitude of closed doors. That looks like a woman to me, if you didn't catch on to what I was saying there. Through each one of the sound of furious rehearsal can be heard. Rock music blares out of one door almost as loud as a concert. I guess that's one of the advantages of a private school. There are actually enough rooms to go around at a time like this. And when I think about it, the grounds and buildings of the school are kept in pretty good condition. That can't be too cheap. I've heard that this place has some pretty serious benefactors. The walls of the library only partially insulate the noise of the festival preparations, but they're the only sounds to be heard. Not a soul stirs here, with everyone apparently enjoying the weather outside or working on festival events. Yuko isn't here either. Maybe she doesn't work on Saturdays. Who opened up the library then? I quietly walk through the library now, fairly familiar with its layout. I head to the back where Hanako's private little corner is. I laugh if you walk around the corner and there's a sign saying Hanako's private little corner. That would top it for me. I run my hand along the spines of the books on the way through, feeling the individual texture of each as I glance across the titles. I used to do this all the time at the library at the hospital. Some things never change, I guess. Like the smell of a library, no matter how much care you take, the paper in books is always going to degrade with time. Probably, no matter which library you go into, anywhere in the world, it must have that same musty smell. I find something that looks light enough to read without any major thought involved. Where's Wally? Then look for Hanako in the reading area. Once again, she is sitting on a beanbag with her back to a bookshelf, reading the same book she had in the classroom. She's slowly making her way through the pages. Unlike last time I saw her here, I quietly take a seat in the beanbag. The noise is enough to catch her attention, but not startle her. The delicate routine that must be followed each and every time I try to talk to her almost feels like a hunting game. Is that the same book as before? Yes, I'm almost finished. Cool. I wonder if I should... Do you mind if I borrow it when you're finished? My mouth is faster than my mind, it seems. Sure, you may not like it, but I'm sure it can't be that bad. After all, you've stuck with it, haven't you? I guess. I settle into my beanbag and set about reading my own book that had been buried in my bag. It's a light novel about pirates. To be honest, I'm barely skimming over the words, have chosen the book merely because it belongs to a different genre than I usually read. Finding it hard to muster enough enthusiasm to finish the book, and noting that I've inadvertently distracted Hanako quite a bit, I decide to try and make conversation. So I see Lily left without you. She nods before taking her eyes off her book. She must have been really into it after all. Lily said she had to go and meet someone. Oh? Akira, her sister. Sister? I haven't heard her talk about her family. She and Akira used to live together. I thought all the students lived in the dorms. I mean, we don't have to. But it's easier, right? I mean, there's food here and you're close to school. I don't think I've ever been to class on time so often in my life. Her badly hidden smile proves quite rewarding. In the back of my mind, I know I have a bit of homework to catch up on, but it's quite comfortable in here. No one can find me and force me into working for their pet project either. Oh, just go join the student council with Misha. Though now that I'm thinking about the festival, another question comes up. Hey Hanako, what are you doing for the festival? For a split second I think that Hanako is about to throw her book in the air from shock. Sorry? I was just asking what you were doing for the festival tomorrow. Anything planned? I don't know. Hanako answers in a way that people do when they don't want you to ask any more questions. I take it large crowds and loud music aren't really her thing. Oh, okay. Change the subject, change the subject, change the subject. So, what's Lily's sister like? Good save, Hisao. Good save. She's nice. She's pretty like Lily, but she dresses businesslike. Businesslike? She's always wearing a suit. Ah, I see. And that makes her less pretty somehow? She didn't fucking say that, Hisao. God damn. Hanako gives an embarrassed shake of her head. No, just different. I'll admit it, this has gotten me intrigued. To hear Hanako talk about someone other than Lily is a first, and to become complimentary about it too. But as I try to picture this mysterious sister, all I can think of is Lily in a suit, and I can't imagine that not being attractive. Not at all. I had to burp. Well, one day you'll have to introduce me to her. Okay. Our brief conversation ends as abruptly as it started, and we both return to our novels. The passage of time is marked only by the gradual movement of the patch of light cast through the window. Slowly the noises from the various rehearsals in the building fade out and die as students start to get hungry and tired. Just thinking about that makes my stomach start to turn knots around itself. I think it's time to head back, and I think it's also time that I stop recording tonight because I really have to get going. I do apologise if these were short episodes. I wasn't actually recording. Sorry. I was recording, but I wasn't actually timing it, so yeah. I will just save this here, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.